Was a raccoon up here, but I don't know if they'll be able to get him again. There, right about there. We are now in the Kissimmee Prairie State Park. Yeah, most of the way here was a canopy of oak trees and palmettos. So now it's starting to open up. But I gotta say, the shade was nice on the way here, but we're gonna be losing it now. Hey, here's an old gopher tortoise shell. Poor guy didn't make it. Or maybe he did, he just had a long life. The gopher tortoise is protected, and they're important because when they dig their burrows, and sometimes they no longer live in them, other animals inhabit them. Also, during fires, a lot of animals seek shelter in the gopher tortoise holes and end up surviving, you know, as the fire goes by. So snakes and other different types of critters will get in there and either use it afterwards or during fires. So those guys get pretty big too. They're neat to see. Reaching camp after a really warm day, I immediately set about making a well-deserved glass of freshly squeezed lemon water. It was a perfect use for the wild citrus I'd collected a couple days earlier. So it's quite a bit cooler this morning. We got to about 41 last night. And I actually like it because this part of the trail, there's not many trees, so you're dealing with a lot of sun. It's a little, it's not hot, but with there being no trees and just the sun beating on you, it gets a little toasty. So this is nice. But I met a couple yesterday. They were heading southbound. They told me this next stretch is pretty dry. So I'm topped off on water. Pack's a little bit heavier, but at least I got plenty of water. So that was a good tip from them. There is a pitcher pump this way, but it's inoperable, so this last one was working, so they recommended I top off there, which I did. But beautiful morning today. Here we are at the Visitor Center in Kissimmee Prairie State Park. We're going to go ahead and pay for our stay at the primitive campsite. And word is that they have trail magic in here, so we'll see. If they do, it's the first place I've hit on the entire trail that has had it. So let's check it out. All right, guys. We scored some trail magic. Yes, this is the first trail magic I've had the entire trail. So thank you, Kissimmee River State Park. You guys are awesome. Kissimmee River State Park, you guys are awesome. But now back to the trail. And I'm gonna eat some of these snacks. Love the sugar sand. It's like snow. It's so bright. It's just endless shrub through here. Well, this is a pretty cool day. We got our first trail magic of the entire trip so far, so that was pretty neat. And weather's cooled down. It's going to get a little chilly tonight. We're going to be at anywhere around 34, 36-ish, something like that. So going to be the coldest night so far since I left. Good that we had the cooler weather during this part of the trip though, because there wasn't many trees on most of this transit. And so it got pretty hot at times. So today was nice with that weather rolling in. But get some dinner made here and get bundled up and see you in the morning. Well, I'm all snuggled up and ready for the cold night. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see you in the morning. We have a beautiful sunrise this morning. I don't think it got as cold as they predicted. If it did, it didn't feel that cold, so quite comfortable. Got an early start this morning. Haven't seen much wildlife through here, other than really birds. Surprising. I did see a couple deer yesterday, but they took off so fast I couldn't get the camera out. I don't know if they're going to come out, but there's some deer right up there on the road. They spotted me yet. They might have smelled me though. I'm upwind of them right now. Right there. There they go. Looks like there's two more deer up here along the fence again. Let's see how close we can get to these guys. At least I hope they're deer, not hog. There's a lot of evidence of hogs out here tearing up the ground. Actually looks like three. I think they spot me now. Oh, there's actually more on the other side of the fence. Sorry to break up your breakfast, guys. Kind of ironic. I was just talking earlier about how it's this little wildlife I've seen on the trail, and this is the most I've seen, especially deer, since I started. Now, once I got across 75 after Big Cypress Preserve, I saw a ton of alligator, but since then I haven't really seen much. But it's nice to see the deer. There's a ton of them out this morning. This is one of the few of the locks that you'll come across along the trail. Pretty cool. There's water flowing through there. Funny looking at all the tracks along the road. We got some raccoon, we got some people, and there's a ton of cow tracks and cow patties. This area we're going to be going through today is Kicko, K-I-C-C-O. And from what I remember, I briefly was reading a little bit about it, but many years ago, it was like a bustling basically a cattle town out of the cattle industry. And a lot of this is Southwest water management area because the river is just over there. But I think somehow this is like a independent still kind of area, because one of the campsites that I'm going to be going to tonight, it's kind of tricky reserving it. It's free, but you just got to reserve it. It's through the Kiko rather than just the normal Southwest Florida Water Management District. Because when you go on the Water Management District site, there is a Kiko, but there's only like one. But there's also several other ones that are out here that aren't on that site. But at any rate, we figured it out and got that reserved. I just thought that was interesting about this area. I'll do a little more research and put that in the video for sure. Florida just has such a agricultural history, and so much history with settlement and the railroad that is so very different than the history that we think of typically, I guess, because of what's on TV and the parts of Florida we see, like the beaches and the touristy areas. Found some of the Kiko cows. Maybe back over there. I made it to camp, but this camp is like Widowmaker heaven. I mean, it's beautiful canopy, but there are a lot of dead limbs that have fallen. I also think it's just one that people don't use very much. But I set up over there. It's the best I can do. I mean, there's this open area right here, which is still under a bunch of stuff, but I like that spot over there better because it's up against the palmetto bushes. And it's going to shield me a lot from the wind. There's a lot of wind coming through here right now, and so that'll keep me warmer tonight. But yeah, it's got a little fire going. Already pressed some water, so we got about 1.5 liters for camp tonight, which is plenty, and then we'll set off tomorrow. So I cut another one of those wild citrus fruits that I found on the trail that I'm gonna put in my water. Somebody was telling me that they're really tart, like not as sweet as you would get in the store, but I find it fine. I mean, especially diluted in the water. Probably wouldn't eat it by itself, but, or maybe I would, but they're definitely not as sweet as the store-bought variety, but it does give you some nice flavor in here. Probably some vitamins. Yeah, glad I found them. I still have one left. So far, the Florida Trail has delivered an amazing experience of varied landscapes, rich history, and abundant wildlife. Thanks for joining me on this adventure, and stay tuned because this journey isn't over yet. I'll see you on the next one.